What if the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the way you're thinking right now? What if the reason you haven't won yet isn't because you lack talent, money, or opportunity, but because you're waiting to feel like a winner before you start acting like one? Here's the truth most people miss. Success doesn't create a winner's mindset. A winner's mindset creates success. We love the highlight reel, the trophies, the promotions, the applause, but what we don't see are the invisible decisions made long before any external reward shows up. The thoughts, the standards, the daily discipline, the identity. Thinking like a winner doesn't mean pretending you've already achieved everything. It means aligning your thoughts, your behaviors, and your standards with the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. So today we're breaking down what it really means to think like a winner, even before you win. Principle number 1, winners decide who they are before the world does. Most people build their identity from their results. If they fail, they say, "I'm not good at this." If they get rejected, they say, "I'm not talented enough." If they lose, they label themselves a loser. But winners flip the order. They choose their identity first, then they act in alignment with it. Psychologists call this identity-based behavior. Your actions naturally follow who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, you'll unconsciously prove it true. If you see yourself as someone who always finds a way, your brain will start searching for solutions instead of excuses. Think about it. When you say, "I'm trying to work out," it feels optional, temporary. But when you say, "I'm becoming someone who trains consistently," it shifts from a task to an identity. There's a huge difference. Let's make it practical. Imagine you want to start a business. Right now you might think, "I hope this works." That's a hopeful mindset. The other assumes growth is inevitable. So here's your action step. Stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "Who do I need to become?" Then write down 3 identity statements, not goals, identities. I am someone who finishes what I start. I am someone who takes calculated risks. I am someone who learns from feedback. Repeat them daily. Act in small ways that support them. Principle number 2, winners separate effort from emotion. Most people act based on how they feel. If they feel motivated, they work. If they feel tired, they scroll. If they feel discouraged, they quit. Winners don't ignore their emotions. They just don't let emotions dictate their standards. There's a concept in psychology called emotional regulation. High performers don't experience less fear, doubt, or frustration. They simply don't interpret those emotions as stop signs. Feeling nervous before a presentation? That doesn't mean you're not ready. It means you care. Feeling tired after a long day? That doesn't mean you skip your commitment. It means you manage your energy strategically. Think about the times you didn't feel like showing up, but you did anyway. How did you feel afterward? Stronger, more confident, more in control? Because confidence isn't built by hype. It's built by evidence. And every time you act despite your mood, you collect evidence that you can rely on yourself. So here's a practical shift. Create non-negotiables. These are actions you take regardless of mood. Maybe it's 30 minutes of focused work. Maybe it's 20 minutes of exercise. Maybe it's reading 10 pages a day. Small, consistent, unemotional. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like it?" ask, "Is this aligned with the standard I've set?" Winners don't wait for motivation. They design systems that make progress inevitable. Principle number 3, winners focus on controllables, not outcomes. One of the biggest traps in the journey to success is obsessing over results you can't directly control. You can't control whether someone hires you. You can't control how fast your business grows. You can't control how others perceive you. But you can control preparation, effort, skill development. Your response. When you fixate on outcomes, your anxiety increases. When you focus on inputs, your power increases. This is something elite athletes understand deeply. They don't wake up thinking, "I must win the championship today." They think, "Did I train at full intensity? Did I execute my strategy? Did I recover properly? So let's apply that to your life. Instead of saying, I need to make 6 figures this year, shift to, I will improve my value and output every single week. Instead of saying, I need 100,000 followers, shift to, I will publish meaningful content 3 times a week. Outcomes are lagging indicators. Habits are leading indicators. And here's the paradox. When you stop obsessing over winning and start obsessing over improving, winning becomes more likely. Ask yourself, what are 3 inputs in your current goal that you fully control? Write them down. Measure those. Track those. Celebrate consistency there. Because winners understand something most people don't. You don't rise to the level of your ambition. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems are built in the quiet days, the invisible days, the days when nobody is clapping. This is where a winner is formed, long before the world ever notices. Principle number 4. Winners reframe failure as data, not identity. Most people are terrified of losing, not because of the event itself, but because of what they think it says about them. If the project fails, they think, I'm not capable. If the relationship ends, they think, I'm not enough. If they get rejected, they think, I'm not meant for this. But winners see something completely different. They see feedback. There's a powerful concept in psychology called cognitive reframing. It's the ability to interpret the same event in a different, more empowering way. The event doesn't change. The meaning does. Let's say you launch something and nobody buys. A losing mindset says, this proves I'm bad at business. A winner's mindset says, this is information. What can I adjust? The offer? The message? The audience? Do you see the difference? Think about any high achiever you admire. Their path wasn't clean. It wasn't smooth. It was messy, iterative, full of wrong turns and recalculations. What separates them from everyone else isn't that they avoided failure. It's that they didn't personalize it. Failure is an event, not an identity. Here's something practical you can start doing immediately. After every setback, ask 3 questions. What worked? What didn't work? What will I change next time? That's it. No emotional drama, no self-judgment, just data collection. You didn't lose. You ran an experiment. When you start treating your life like a series of experiments instead of a final exam, pressure decreases and growth accelerates. Because now, every outcome has value. Principle number 5. Winners think long-term while acting daily. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a week and underestimate what they can achieve in 5 years. We live in a culture obsessed with quick wins. Overnight success, viral growth, immediate validation. But real winners are playing a longer game. They're not asking, how fast can I get results? They're asking, what kind of person will I become if I commit to this for the next 5 years? That shift changes everything. When you think short-term, you quit when it gets boring. When you think long-term, boredom becomes part of the strategy. Let's be honest, mastery isn't exciting every day. Training isn't glamorous. Studying isn't thrilling. Building something from scratch is often repetitive and slow. But winners understand compound growth. A single workout won't transform your body, but 300 workouts will. One piece of content won't build an audience, but 500 might. One conversation won't change your network, but years of intentional relationships will. So here's an exercise. Imagine yourself 5 years from now if you stay consistent. Not perfect, just consistent. What would be different? Your skills, your confidence, your income, your environment? Now imagine 5 years of inconsistency. 5 years of stopping and starting, of waiting for motivation, of quitting when it gets uncomfortable. Which version scares you more? Thinking like a winner means making decisions your future self will thank you for, even when your present self feels impatient. Instead of chasing intensity, chase sustainability. Ask yourself, can I do this on my worst week? Can I maintain this pace without burning out? Winners don't sprint for applause. They pace themselves for longevity. And here's where everything connects. When you choose your identity first, when you act regardless of mood, when you focus on controllables, when you treat failure as data, and when you commit to the long game, you start to notice something powerful. You feel different. Not because you've won yet, but because you trust yourself more. And that trust is the real foundation of a winner's mindset. Thinking like a winner before you win isn't about arrogance. It's not about pretending you're successful when you're not. It's about internal alignment. It's about raising your standards privately before the world rewards you publicly. The world responds to who you are being, not who you hope to become someday. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, stop waiting for proof. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting to feel ready. Choose the identity. Set the non-negotiables. Track the controllables. Extract the lessons. Commit to the long term. And show up, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Because the moment you start thinking like a winner, you've already separated yourself from the version of you who was waiting to be chosen. You don't become a winner when you win. You win because you became a winner long before the result arrived. If this message resonated with you, take a second and ask yourself, what is one action I can take today that aligns with the person I want to become? Do that. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. And if you're serious about building that mindset, subscribe to this channel, share this video with someone who needs it, and come back to it whenever you feel yourself slipping into old patterns. Remember, success is built in private long before it's displayed in public. Start thinking like a winner now, and watch how your life begins to respond.